हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 राम कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can't hear anything. I don't know if it's
Yes.
my...
It's okay, Mataji. I haven't.
Okay, thank you.
Is that much
Hare
better?
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So, okay, I just had a message to say the sound wasn't good, so I'm just looking at that. Hope you can hear me okay.
Yes,
Everything
yes,
okay
I
there?
can hear you. Thank you.
That's good. Okay, wonderful. Anyway, let's make a start. Welcome to the program. So, we're going to talk about Srimad Bhagavatam and hopefully have some attentive japa afterwards. So, last time we were talking about King Vaina, the sages with mantras they killed him, but his body was restored, or rather, he was kept by his mother using different oils and whatnot. And then because there was a lot of crime, the crime rate had surged in the area, in the kingdom. So they really needed to put somebody on the throne to replace King Vaina. So they churned the dead body of King Vaina, and they churned his legs, and Bahuka came out from his body. He was like the contamination that was present in his body, because King Vaina was is quite an evil king. That's why they had to kill him. And this contamination was taken out by mantras, again by the sages. And then they churned his arms, and we start from there, what happened when they churned his arms. So the great sage Maitreya continued. So Maitreya is telling this pastime to Vidur. My dear Vidur, thus the Brahmanas and the great sages again churned the two arms of King Vaina's dead body. And as a result, a male and a female couple came out of his arms. I think Praveen Mataji was asking, why, because there's already issues with King Vaina, then this Bahuka comes out who was not much better. What was the point? So this was the point, that we get into the contamination and then purity will come out of the body. So the great sages were highly learned in Vedic knowledge. When they saw the male and female bone of the arms of Venus' body, they were very pleased, for they could understand that the couple was an expansion of the plenary portion of Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The method adopted by the great sages and scholars who were learned in Vedic knowledge was perfect. They removed all the reactions of King Vaina's sinful activities by saying that King Vaina first gave birth to Bahuka, described in the previous chapter. After King Vaina's body was thus purified, a male and female came out of it, and the great sages could understand that this was an expansion of Lord Vishnu. This expansion, of course, was not Vishnu Tattva, but a specifically empowered expansion of Lord Vishnu known as Avesha. So empowered, basically, they were empowered jivas. So as we were discussing last week, so this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get rid of our impurities. Then we can get empowered by the Lord and serve him. So let's do a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachanam Bhangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Hamande Shri Gurum Din Taranam Pramananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tatodriyam Udiriyat Nashta Preshavavadareshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. So Hare Krishna. So the great sage said, the male is a plenary expansion of the power of Lord Vishnu, who maintains the entire universe, and the female is a plenary expansion of the goddess of fortune, who is never separated from the Lord. Now, the significance of the goddess of fortunes never being separated from the Lord is clearly mentioned herein. People in the material world are very fond of goddess of fortune, which is like Maya, right? And they want her favor in the form of riches. They should know, however, that the goddess of fortune is inseparable from Lord Vishnu. Materialists should understand that the goddess of fortune should be worshipped along with Lord Vishnu and should not be regarded separately. Materialists, seeing the favor of the goddess of fortune, must worship Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi together to maintain material opulence. If a materialist follows the policy of Ravan, who wanted to separate Sita from Lord Ramchandra, the goddess of fortune in this world must engage their money in the service of the Lord. In this way, they can continue in their opulent position without disturbance. And so, I mean, there are people who understand that, and very, very rich people, they do a lot of, they help you this way, they help temples, because they know that you can't separate Narayan and Lakshmi. Your Lakshmi must be used in the service of Narayan. If you are using it in the service of your own benefit, your own sense gratification, then it's called Maya. If it's used in the service of the Lord, then it's called Lakshmi. This is the difference. So for your own benefit, then it's just Maya. That money becomes Maya. And it's very chanchal as well. Of the two, the male will be able to expand his reputation throughout the world. His name will be Prthu. Indeed, he will be the first among kings. There are different types of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Shastra, it is said that Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, that is, and Lord Shiva and Ananta are all very powerful incarnations of the Brahman feature of the Lord. Similarly, Shachipati or Indra, the king of heaven, is an incarnation of the lusty feature of the Lord. Anirudh is an incarnation of the Lord's mind. Similarly, King Prthu is an incarnation of the ruling force of the Lord. Thus, the saintly persons and great sages predicted the future activities of King Prthu, who was already explained as a partial incarnation of a plenary expansion of the Lord. The female has such beautiful teeth and beautiful qualities that she will actually beautify the ornaments she wears. Her name will be Archie. In the future, she will accept King Prthu as her husband. In the form of King Prthu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared through a part of his potency to protect the people of the world. The goddess of fortune is the constant companion of the Lord, and therefore she is incarnate partially as Archie to become King Prithu's queen. In Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord says that whenever one sees an extraordinary power, he should conclude that a specific partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present. There are innumerable such personalities, but not all of them are direct Vishnu Tattva, plenary expansions of the Lord. Many living entities are classified among the Shakti Tattvas. Such incarnations, empowered for specific purposes, are known as Shakti Avesha avatars. So King Prthu was such a Shakti Avesha avatar of the Lord. Similarly, Archie, King Prithu's wife, was a Shakti Avesha avatar of the goddess of fortune. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidurji, at the time all the Brahmins highly praised and glorified King Prthu, and the best singers of Gandharvalok chanted his glories. The inhabitants of Siddhalok showered flowers, and the beautiful women in the heavenly planets danced in ecstasy. Conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums vibrated in outer space. Great sages, forefathers, and personalities from the heavenly planets all came to earth from various planetary systems. So Lord Brahma, the master of the entire universe, arrived, accompanied by all the demigods and the chiefs. Seeing the lines of Lord Vishnu's palm on King Prithu's right hand and impressions of lotus flowers on the soles of his feet, Lord Brahma could understand that King Prthu was a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One whose palm bears the sign of a disc, as well as other such lines, should be considered a partial representation or incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So the learned Brahmins, who were very attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, then arranged for the king's coronation. People from all directions collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony. Thus, everything was complete. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, heavenly planets, the earthly planet, and all other living entities collected various presentations according to their ability to offer the king. Thus, the great King Prthu, exquisitely dressed with garments and ornaments, was coronated and placed on the throne. The king and his wife, Archie, who was also exquisitely ornamented, appeared exactly like fire. So the great sage continued, my dear Vidur, Kuber presented the great King Prthu with a golden throne. The demigod Varun presented him with an umbrella that constantly sprayed fine particles of water and was as brilliant as the moon. So they were all very confident that this is, well, they saw the signs, obviously, that yes, this is definitely the empowerment of Lord Vishnu, and we are blessed to have this incarnation. Excuse me. The demigod of air, Vayu, presented King Prthu with 2 whisks, the strummers of hair, and the king of religion, Dharma, presented him with a flower garland, which would expand his fame. The king of heaven, Indra, excuse me, presented him with a valuable helmet, and the superintendent of death, Yamraj, presented him with a scepter with which to rule the world. So Lord Brahma presented King Prthu with a protection garment made of spiritual knowledge. And Saraswati, the wife of Brahma, gave him a transcendental necklace. Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshan disc, and the Lord Vishnu's wife, the goddess of fortune, gave him imperishable opulences. This is amazing, isn't it? Huh? Lord Shiva presented him with a sword within a sheath marked with the 10 moons, and his wife, the goddess Durga, presented him with a shield marked with 100 moons. The moon demigod presented him with horses made of nectar, and the demigod Vishwakarma presented him with a very beautiful chariot. The demigod of fire, Agni, presented him with a bow made of the horns of goats and cows. The sun god presented him with the arrows as brilliant as sunshine. The predominating deity of Burlok presented him with slippers full of mystic power. And the demigods from outer space brought him presentation of flowers again and again. Anyway, so basically, when the great powerful King Prthu, the son of Bena, saw the professionals before him to congratulate them, he smiled, and with the gravity of the vibrating sounds of clouds, he spoke as follows. So, he's been overwhelmed with all the gifts and prayers and praises that he has received from everyone, but he hasn't done anything yet. He's just arrived, and he's been praised. There's no history. There's nothing to say, oh, you done this, and how you did this, this great act that you carried out. He hasn't done anything, but yet he's getting so much praise. So King Prthu said, O gentle Sutta, Magad, and other devotee offering praise, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I don't wish for these words meant for me to go in vain. So there's a lot of pressure on him now to prove what they're glorifying and praising him for. But it is better that they be offered to someone else. The praise and praises by Sutta, Magad, and Vandi all explain the godly qualities of Maharaj Prthu. For he was Shakti Avesha, incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the qualities were not yet manifest, King Prthu very humbly asked why the devotees should praise him with such exalted words. He did not want anyone to offer him praise or glorify him unless he possessed the real qualities of which they spoke. The offering of praise was certainly appropriate, for he was an incarnation of Godhead, but he warned that one should not be accepted as an incarnation of the personality of Godhead without having the godly qualities. At the present moment, there are so many so-called incarnation of the personality of Godhead, but these are merely fools and rascals whom people accept as incarnations of God, although they have no godly qualities. So King Prthu desired that his real characteristics in the future might justify such words of praise. So, when he proves that he has those qualities by his actions, then it's okay to glorify him, but to just glorify somebody who's really not proven anything is misleading. Although there was no fault in the praise offered, Prthu Maharaj indicated that such praise should not be offered to an unfit person who pretends to be an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. O gentle reciters, offer such praise in due course of time, when the qualities of which you have spoken actually manifest themselves in me. The gentle who offer praise to the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not attribute such qualities to a human being who does not actually have them. How could an intelligent man, competent enough to possess such exalted qualities, allow his followers to praise him if he didn't actually have them? Praising a man by saying that if he were educated, he might have become a great scholar or great personality is nothing but a process of cheating. A foolish person who agrees to accept such praise does not know that such words simply insult him. As a person with a sense of honor and magnanimity does not like to hear about his abominable actions, a person who is very famous and powerful does not like to hear himself praised. So King Prthu continued, my dear devotees, headed by Sutta, just now I am not very famous for my personal activities because I have not done anything praiseworthy you could glorify. Therefore, how could I engage you in praising my activities exactly like children? So this is the thing. It's always actually quite scary when somebody is praising you unnecessarily or is unwarranted. They're praising you. Then you find that if praise comes without reason, then insults can also come without reason. So we have to be very careful when somebody's praising us, that if they are taking notice of us, they want to praise us, then they will notice our situation when we are not worthy of those qualities, and they might even insult us then, because they're taking too much notice of our movement or our activities. So King Prthu is saying that please give me the opportunity first to even find out for myself that I have these qualities, and let me use those qualities for the benefit of the citizens. Then you can say, right, you've done well, and I'll be happy to hear some compliments. But at the moment, I this is just empty gestures, and I'm not worthy, or I don't deserve such gestures. So please give me the opportunity to do something for everyone. So thank you so much, and so nice that you have joined. Prem Prakash Prabhu, I'll say Radhya because Prem Prakash Prabhu at the bottom in the alphabetic order as well. And my father-in-law ji, Hina Mataji, Rukmani Mataji, Partha Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, Prem Prakash Prabhu, and Venkat Prabhu. Thank you so much for making the time and joining. And please let me know what you have understood from this. And if you'd like to share, start with Hina Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam, everyone. All glories to Prabhupada, thank you. Yeah, really, really enjoyed listening to the verses you read today. I think a couple of things for me is you started with the relationship between Narayan and Lakshmi at the beginning, which is so sweet. And it's such a nice reminder as well that we... Lakshmi is there to serve Narayan, Krishna, and that we should, it's a reminder that that's the reason for any wealth that we do have, and that's the reason for, she needs to be employed in his service. So we should always use it for that benefit, as a priority, which was a lovely, I always love listening to that and hearing about that. And then when you talked about King Prthu and King Prithu's coronation and the appearance of the demigods arriving, and their prayers and their praises, and it just got me thinking that, reminding me that actually how much, the only person we really should be praising on a daily basis really is the Lord, is Krishna and his devotees. And, I probably don't, it's probably a self-reflection on myself there, like, actually, I don't do that enough, and yeah, that's kind of just, I think a bit of a takeaway, a learning for me, that actually I should be praising a lot more. These are the people that, the Lord and the devotees are worthy of praise every day. But do I do it enough? No, I probably don't do it enough, and I should do it. I should use my words in that positive way every day. So thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Very good. And talk about, Lakshmi, that we try to hoard it. This is our thing that we try to hold it. Lakshmi, like you mentioned, Madani, that it's for the service. Lakshmi wants to serve the Lord, and it should not be hidden. It shouldn't be kept. It should be used in the service of the Lord. If we are keeping a lot of Lakshmi, obviously we need to have for emergencies. If we are keeping a lot of Lakshmi, then we are holding it back from serving the Lord, which is not a good thing. Hare Krishna. So, Rukmini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The character this Prthu, King Prthu, I read yesterday. And yes, you say Lakshmi service of Lord. Lakshmi use the service of Lord. That is true because sometimes people have Lakshmi, so much rich people, and they are just arrogant and using in a bar and gambling. But I like about this. We are doing the program in Memorial Hall. So it is very useful, give the knowledge of the transcendental and also a very good use of the Lakshmi. So it's good to have Lakshmi, and we have to use it in a correct way. That's it, Babuji, nothing to say more.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, absolutely right. Anything that can be used in the service of the Lord is the best way. And it's also mentioned here that just because you're using your Lakshmi in the service of the Lord, it doesn't mean you're going to run out, right? In fact, Krishna gives you more, so you can serve more. We never run out when you're doing something in the service of Krishna. Speaking to Nitai Charan Prabhu last Sunday, and we were talking about the same thing, that if you are asked to give a donation for some festival or sponsor something, or asked to help and you don't help, you do find, and I found myself, that when you hold back, then that money you get some kind of fine or something happens, that you will lose probably more somewhere else, because end of the day, like I said, that Lakshmi is essential without the Lord, and it will just put you in illusion, and it will go where it wants to go. You can try and hold it, but you can't hold on to it because it needs to move. It will make a ullu out of you, because it comes on an owl, it rides on an owl, and it will make a owl out of us, as the Indian owl, not the wise English owl. The Indian owl makes a ullu out of us, and fools us like that. Thank you so much. Partha Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When I was reading this pastime, I had one doubt where, like when we say in Brahma Vimochan Leela, Brahma could not identify that he is Krishna himself. And he doubted Krishna in that. And here Brahma could identify Krishna by looking at the symbols. I thought, why Brahma could not do this at that time during Brahma Vimochan Leela also. That anyhow, it is Krishna's pastime, so it is like that, I thought. And another points, Prabhuji, last time Mataji asked like why Bhurishrava came, such a bad person, I think. Then you mentioned that it is explained in the next one. So when more purified, then you move from mode of ignorance to mode of goodness finally. So I think that's why the more he was purified by the sages, the body was purified. Initially Bhurishrava came, but now finally the Prthu Maharaj and Archi came. And goddess of fortune, in Bhagavad-Gita, when Prabhupada mentioned about the 5 indications that Pandavas will win, one is goddess of Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, because Lord Krishna is there, means Lord Narayan is there, and goddess of fortune is there with them. So that is one of the symptom of saying that Pandavas will be victorious in the war. That's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Parveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dalvat Pranam to everyone. Yes, very nice points, by everybody. So I will praise that, because my brain doesn't work like that. I cannot deduce, like Partha Prabhu, he just said about, yes, where is Krishna was there, so automatically Lakshmi will be there, and it was a sign of victory. And Hina Mataji said about Lakshmi Mata, and it's like the service, but my brain is still in ignorance, and that's why I asked the question last week as well, why Bihuka came. So now it's a beautiful, like my material mind underestimated power of the sages. Why would they do something if it is not going to be of any good? So yeah, so it's very nice. And in like I'm sure it's in Nectar of Instructions. So if we are reading scriptures, we have got the guidelines. We just have to follow them. That 50% of Lakshmi should be used in Krishna consciousness. So we just have to be, think of that and make sure we are contributing and doing the services which we can.
Sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes. Very
Thank
nice pastime. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. Yeah, I mean, what we do, because everything, when we know Krishna is the center of our lives and of all our activities, and this is Krishna's house, our children are Krishna's children, our relations are children's relations, everything belongs to Krishna. So when we use, then that way, whatever you're using for your children or for your wife or your husband, then that if that's if that helps to bring them closer to Krishna and live a healthy life, then that's all included in that service. Your house, this is Krishna's house, and you're paying the bills for the house. That's Krishna's service. So by the consciousness that when you're spending that Lakshmi, how you spending it, with what motivation you're spending it. So it's all included in there. So no, I'm not asking anybody to just give thousands of pounds of donation because it's Lakshmi. It's all you do what you can by your means, but everything you do is part of Krishna's service. That should be the attitude. It's like the three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. We want to be in the mode of goodness, but these two modes are still there. They're also serving, but we use them appropriately. Right? So goodness we want to be in, but then we don't want to stay in goodness. We want to use goodness to get into pure goodness. Passion and ignorance, we still need them. We can't ignore them. We know we need those two as well to help us. We need passion for activity, and we need ignorance for resting. And we need to rest for Krishna, and we need to be active for Krishna. So it's like that. Everything can be used in the service of Krishna. Yukta Vairagya. This is what Prabhupada has taught us. So everything is for Krishna's service. Brother, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you repeat that? Passion for
Activity,
and ignorance for
resting, for sleeping.
Okay, yes, thank you.
So what I'm saying, that all modes are useful, but we should be in control of them, not they controlling us. Our passion should not be controlling us, that we just constantly active in sense gratification or 24/7 trying to make money, so we can have more sense gratification like that. Then we are controlled by passion. And if you're lazy, sleepy, you don't, you get up when you want and you do what you want, and everything's just like out of control in your life. You're not really trying to help yourself. And then the mode of ignorance has taken over you, and you are not in control. The mode of ignorance is in control. So you should be in control, but at the same time, use all three for your benefit. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Just wanted to add to whatever realizations you have shared so far, that whatever Krishna has given to us in this life, I've realized as the time goes by that it is useful. Sometimes we don't understand that this has been given to me. What's the use of that? How I can use in the service of Krishna? When you start doing the bhakti. Before bhakti, you have a different mindset, and after you come to the bhakti, you hear so much, you from the persons who have devotees who have realized, who have understood it by the scriptures, or through the realizations of the ones who have read the scriptures, understood them, your spiritual master, your guru, and of course Srila Prabhupada in our ISKCON movement, for all of us. I was hearing something and it gave me a beautiful realization. I thought I will definitely share with you all that our body has been given to us, and body is actually given to us by Krishna for the behavior, for our, vyavhar, like we say in Hindi, the day-to-day interactions and day-to-day, whether you're working or you are, whichever ashram you are in life, your body, you need that for that sort of, interactions in the society and at large. And your mind is given to us by Krishna. We have to put Lord in our minds. Lord has to be seated on the throne of the mind. And what we happen to be doing is totally opposite. We put all the things which shouldn't be put in the mind. Like somebody said something to me, something happened, was not right, I was unhappy in some dealing in my life, or life didn't deal me like that. I wanted this. I did a deal in business, or attempted an exam, or attempted in a competition and I didn't make it. So, we tend to put our failures and all the negative things which we shouldn't be putting in our mind. We put all that in our mind, and that's how our mind gets impurified. And this has not just happened in this life, this has been happening in God knows how many lives we've been doing this, and there's so much accumulation. That's why we have to purify it by saying the Mahamantra. And the more we do the Mahamantra, we realize that, oh God, there's more and more dirt coming up, because there's so much dirt hidden in our minds from so many lifetimes. So what I heard and how I just decoded it in my head made so much sense that, wow, so this is it. Mind is there to have Krishna in it, because mind has got the habit of, repeating the reels, repeating the pictures, repeating the movies. Whatever you put there, it will keep repeating. If you put the good things, it will repeat the good things. If you put the bad things in the mind will keep, replaying the bad movies in there. So if we put Krishna in our mind, just think, we put all the dealings, okay, whatever happening in our life, however we are dealing, it's there. And remember that that's all temporary. That's with this body. Don't take that to your heart, like they say, like we say in our day-to-day language, don't take it to your heart. Don't put that in the mind. Mind is there exclusively for Lord. And that's why we have to do the chanting very, very nicely. And, some days we wake up in the morning, God knows we've had some bad dreams, or, our mind has been to some kind of journeys because we have been reading or seeing something in the media or in the news or whatever, or we've heard something. So we sometimes wake up in a very bad state of mind, and we find that it's hard to chant. And then you just feel that, oh God, whatever I've done so far, it was nothing. I have to start again. So mind is exclusive for Krishna, and the body is dealing with the world. So we have to keep them segregated, and we have to remember this fact. And then I think, then in true sense, our bhakti will start. Otherwise, I was thinking that, wow, we could be coming again and again to this world, accumulating more and more karma, and maybe starting bhakti from wherever we left in our previous life, and thinking, how come I'm still so far from Krishna? Because this basic we fail to realize. So let us use our mind, which is exclusively for Krishna, and start our bhakti fresh.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, it says in 2 verses, Man mana bhav mad bhakto. Krishna wants your mind. He knows what the mind is like, where it goes and what it does and what it leads us into. So this is the first line he uses, Man mana bhav mad bhakto. Krishna says, apply your mind into me. And like Radharani says, then it will play spiritual videos in our heads instead of material and mundane things that just make us more angry and negative in our daily lives. Thank you so much. Prem Prakash Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So that's a wonderful pastime. There are so many anomalies, basically. I mean, from the regular course of action. But I had similar questions, basically saying that uh, uh, Archimata and Prthu Maharaj actually came from the same body, and then I got an answer basically towards it. It's not coming from the same womb. They can't be considered brothers and sisters because they are chanted and they've been presented or got from the same body, the body of
King Venu.
King Vena. Yeah. So that's something which was interesting, but I learned the way I actually have seen that. But they are really good examples and considerations that you have given, Prabhuji, which we need to think about is how we are using Lakshmi in the service of Narayan or not, because that's something that's very important. Um, Otherwise, Lakshmi being having a chanchal nature will become Maya. The Maya, anything that goes away from Krishna is Maya. So if it is not used in Krishna service, so it becomes Maya. And if it is used in Krishna service, then it becomes Lakshmi. Many of us will worship Lakshmi Maharani, Ganesh Lakshmi Puja and all basically when we do it. But we forget to include Narayan there, even in Diwalis. It's in practice even in our home for many years basically. So we fail to understand what is the purpose of the puja and the thing. So with this understanding, it comes to the crux that how it's been when we read the scriptures. So we know the purpose behind the scriptures basically. Otherwise, it just becomes a flowery language, and it just dilutes us. So something that is very important for us to understand. That's what I'll say. Also, it's a exemplification of humility is there when Lord Brahma and all the great sages came, and they not just only just came there, they actually exemplified. They actually said what activities Prithum Maharaj is going to do in his entire lifetime. So this is all known. So because of that exemplification, people know that what he's going to do, who he is basically. So there was no hidden facts between that. But still, being Saktavesha Avatar, Prithum Maharaj did not honor any of the phrases, and it's very, very, very subtle thing to understand the way you presented, Prabhuji, is that we normally get very much happy when somebody praises us. It's an inert nature. People get a lot of confidence in doing few of the things or any of the service or anything basically materially or spiritually. So people get confidence, but very subtle thing to understand that if we actually take that praise as a impetus for carrying on each and every activities in our life basically, or even if we don't give a consideration that whether that praise is really worthy of, that is actually an insult. That is very deep understanding. If it's not deep understanding, at least it's something which we need to consider. Very important point that hit me. And we normally actually hear a lot of praise, and then for certain reasons basically, and then we just take it, okay, fine, yeah, thank you, that's what we'll say, yeah. And somehow the nature of human nature will try to say that, oh, that praise is not enough, I did so much and other things as well. So we actually keep on saying, oh, that's not enough, that's really difficult job and I did it. So basically that kind of nature will come. So we don't really straightway accept the praise as well. We actually try to even exemplify that, but we need to really concord and then see that really is that activity carried out was such an exemplified activity that nobody else was able to do it, and am I the only one who did it? So with that we'll come to know that, I mean, sometimes the praise is actually, even the person's intentionally or unintentionally does, it comes as an insult, to be honest. And that's why if you see the Vaishnavas, pure Vaishnavas, they will just leave the place whenever they are praised basically. They won't take it as a good thing for themselves, for the bhakti and the devotional service. They will just leave. So these are some point of considerations. They are really, really I really like them, and I wanted to mention it again, Prabhuji. I'm not saying anything from myself. I'm just uh, repeating what you said, and those were like, I really, really like the points today. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, I mean, if somebody praises me, okay, I should take it as that, let me do more, let me prove them right. I want to do, it gives you happiness, like you say, somebody says good thing, it makes you happy inside that my services have been recognized. But you don't leave it at that. Okay, look, then now I'm great, so I really don't need to do anymore. Prove myself. You can't rely on your reputation. You can't run on your reputation alone. This is what happens sometimes. People run on their reputation, but you should think, right, so this is a good service. It's been recognized. This is necessary. It's an important service. So let me see what more I can do in this service. I think that you can use that praise in the service of Krishna as well. So like I said, everything can be used in service of Krishna. So use the praise in the service of Krishna and do more service, make it even better. There's always room for improvement. Make it even better. But like I said, on the other hand, I'm always fearful when somebody does praise that, maybe insult will come as well. Is followed by a compliment. So insult, if you can get praised, you can get insulted as well. So that fear is also there. So you want to quickly say something?
Yeah. Excuse me. I just wanted to add that, when the praise comes, and actually I feel burdened if somebody praises me, pressure or burdened in the sense that you feel that, so I have to do something better next time. That kind of feeling that comes to my mind always. For example, if somebody praises something you did and, oh, that was nice, and you're like, I can't just live on my laurels. I can't just sit on my laurels, what have been given to me this time, that, oh, you've done so well. So I need to do something better next time. But also what we can do is just think, meditate on this thing, that we are part and parcel of Krishna, our souls. So if by doing something insignificant we are getting praise, just think of Krishna, where this praise is actually coming from. We have got the qualities because we have got qualities in minute quantities, but they are part of Krishna. They are coming from there, the source. So the best thing I've seen is to just meditate on Lord, and just like Narayan Krishna Prabhu, he just said, because of the dualities of life, if the praise is coming, then insult is also coming. So so just pray to Krishna that keep our minds steady in his service, that with praise we don't get puffed up, like Prabhupada says again and again, don't get puffed up. And whatever you do, whatever you think, just offer it to Krishna. That's the only way.
Yeah, a lot of people say Shurupad ki jai. If somebody prays and says Shurupad ki jai, offer it to your spiritual master. It's good. So,
there are a couple of instances, Ravi. If you go to Vrindavan somewhere, and then many Gosaijis are there, and they will be doing exemplary services. And when you actually congratulate them, and they will say that, "Mera kya hai?" I mean, just putting in, "Ye to Prabhu ka, Prabhu ne jo diya karaya, wo maine kar diya." So that's something which is very good understanding as well, is that Krishna says that the skills and intelligence is in the mind, basically, or in human is Krishna himself. So we need to understand that. Yeah, so anything that happens is Krishna himself. So anything good we do is obviously Krishna, and that's why even in prayers, basically, very exemplified speakers, when they speak, they actually say that, like they will say that, I mean, anything that comes good out of it is mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Anything that is basically not acceptable is my fault. So that kind of humility, if we keep that, then praise is all obviously in service of Krishna as well.
absolutely. And we can only desire. Everything else is sanctioned. We can't do anything unless it gets sanctioned by the Lord, and unless the material nature helps us. All the activity we do, that is not always in our control. It's provided by the Lord. So just that living entity, the spark, it has to have the right desires. and then Krishna makes arrangements for you to carry out that process. And it's up to Krishna whether he wants, you do well or you don't do well. That's in his hands, not in ours. We can only desire to do it well.
And sometimes our good is also, hidden in if something's good not happening to us, or we trying and it's not manifesting in goodness, in a proper result. So even the bad results, sometimes our failure is also good for us. Krishna makes us understand in the due course of time.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you
There's
so much.
much to talk about it, basically. There's so much with this understanding. There's so much past times in the past, in the present. The things are happening like that. I mean, in each one of our life, basically, as well as exemplified, said the devotees as well. And, yeah, thank you, Mate. That's really good understanding that even bad is happening. That's
There's an English saying as well. God's rejection is God's protection. So if something is not happening for us, then we should think God's trying to protect us. And you find out later, and yes, he was trying to protect us. Might not realize at the time. So that is God's protection. So God's rejection, if God is rejecting us, is not sanctioning something for us, because you can't do anything until God sanctions it. Say yes, that this is going to go. Then he's trying to protect us. It's not that it's not. He doesn't
He's
want
holding
us
us
to do
back.
it. Yeah, it's not. He's holding us back. He's protecting us. Thank you so much. Let's do a couple of quick rounds. Or should we do one round? I don't know.
Yeah, just do the one round.
I think
Bit
10 to
late.
9. Yeah, let's do one round.
Yeah.
Rupani Mataji would like to do this one round, and then we'll finish the program.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, I was